ride the tide and balance strong, big and straight. You race towards an early grave.
Hello viewers, it's James Kalm again. I was walking down the street and I got snagged by this guy over here, Jim D'Amato. He said I had to come in to see this show with he and Chellis Baird at the Highline 9 Gallery here in Chelsea. It's on 27th Street. So we're going to do a quick spontaneous walk through here. All right, Jim D'Amato, come over, introduce yourself. We're going to walk through here.
Hello, YouTube.
Tell us,
Hello,
okay, let's not get carried away with this. Tell us a little bit about the show. It's a two-person show.
Hi, I'm Chellis Baird.
Hi, Chellis.
I'm a textile artist based in New York City. And Jim and I have been exhibited in group shows together in the past and immediately saw the connection between our work. And so that's what led us to partner and start working towards a two-person show, which is where we're standing today.
All right, beautiful. We're going to start out, we're going to look at some of Jim's work. Do we have some titles? Get over here, you got to be able to...
We do. So the black and white one is called Chaos Vortex.
Okay, so the title of the black and white one is
Chaos Vortex.
Chaos Vortex.
The red is The Wizard.
And these are all acrylic on canvas.
They are. And these two are the two newest paintings from the studio. Hot off the presses, brand new.
Okay, so would you say that most of this work, or a lot of this work, is done during the COVID lockdowns? Is that?
No, most of it is 2021, 2022.
Okay, so after that.
We did work before then too. All we do is work. That one actually, that's 2019. I
want to talk to Chellis now. Tell us a little bit about your practice. Let's go down here and look at some of these pieces. You were saying you're a textile artist?
Yes, I'm a textile artist. So I really try to break the boundaries of what makes up a painting. It's fabric, paint, and wood, and how I can own each of those elements for myself. So this piece is titled The End, and I'm really celebrating the end of the fabric, the end of the draping within the element of black and white.
But then this fabric has been coated with plaster? Is that what that is? Or modeling paste? Or?
Yes, it has plaster, gesso, and several layers of acrylic paint. So Jim and I both work with acrylic paint, but in very different executions.
And what is your feeling about the? Let's go over and look at this. Is kind of an interesting piece. The three-dimensional qualities of the work, like this one here, it's actually open enough that you could insert your hand back there in some of the space, so it goes beyond just bas relief.
Yes.
Kind of a sculptural aspect to that.
Definitely. So I'm a dancer, and I love to dance. So
Oh,
I
a dancer.
am inspired by movement, and so this piece is titled Swirl. And sometimes when you're swirling or turning, you kind of keep going and going, and things that rise to the surface. So that's what this work sort of.
Well, I'm also sort of seeing a relationship between your palettes here. You're both using a very restricted palettes, a lot of black and white and red. You got a little blue in there, Jim, a little gray.
Yeah,
Was that part of the reason you thought you'd fit together well?
Well, I think, the connections between us are pretty deep. I mean, one of those formal connections is because the compositions get so complex, we tend to be pretty minimal and reductive regarding color. But there's also a complexity to the compositions, the way we get to an end result through process and trying to push things, in a certain way through abstraction. So there are a lot of different connections, formally, conceptually, etc. So we thought we would work well together.
Some of the large Chellis pieces. Well, you're talking about being a dancer, and I can't help but see that there's also some relationships to clothing, other kinds of things.
Yes, absolutely. absolutely. I was a designer in New York for about 10 years. Always
Clothing designer?
Clothing designer for Ralph Lauren and Donna Karan and Tula, and I would travel to Paris and Italy and worked with a lot of the really high-end fabric mills. So I kind of used some of those elements in my toolbox in terms of the way that I drape and weave and twist the fabric. These are also even reminiscent of like Greek and Roman statues of the Met. Like
yes,
reference more.
Yes, the fluted drapery and things like that are very classic.
Yeah, I love how reductive these are, but they're also, they're very bold and they're very intense. The more time you spend with them, the more they grow on you.
They are. This one's titled Epilogue, and this one's titled Through.
Can you give me an idea of what the size is on that? Is that about 5 by 4.5 feet, something like that?
Yes, exactly.
60 by 48? Okay.
This one's titled The Fold, and for me this work really begins to start to reference the body, and you can kind of see elements of the female form. And, red is one of my favorite colors. I had a solo show last year at the National Arts Club titled The Touch of Red, all inspired by wearing red lipstick. So for this series I wanted to kind of elaborate a little bit more on my love of red.
We like it. How much does something like that weigh with all the modeling paste on that? Does it get heavy or?
This one is around 40 pounds.
Okay. All right, Jim, more of your stuff?
Yeah, so these are very new. These were all at the very end of 2022. So painting called The Reckoning. So there's red mixed into these grays here in the back in the brown color. This is a painting that is connected to that. It was also done around the same time. Getting in there very tightly and intricately with the blacks. One thing that's pretty cool, Lauren, which I think your viewers would be interested in. We made these paintings at the same time with this pink and white palette without knowing that the other was making it. So there was a connection between these two works. We didn't know that we were both working on something.
Now, how did you guys meet? Is there a backstory? Did you study together somewhere, or?
We had worked in a benefit auction together about 2 years ago, just before COVID, and we met and we connected. Then Chellis had a solo show at the Louise Nevelson Chapel, which he invited me to. We met, and I was really impressed by. She liked my.
Is that by the City Corps building? Is that one?
Yes, exactly. It's part of the City Corps building.
Sure, it's beautiful.
And we just, we just continued to connect and to hang out, and we respected each other's work, and we saw a lot of connections between what we were doing. So we decided to collaborate and make this happen.
Okay, I'm going to walk around the edge here, look at some of the smaller pieces. Again, I like the reduced palette on some of these, Jim. The brushwork is so funny. I was kind of looking at that thinking maybe you had some kind of a ink pen or a paint marker they were using, or is it straight with a brush and acrylic, or do you cheat a little bit in there?
No cheating. Everyone that's come in, which is pretty funny, thinks that there's some type of stenciling or some type of printmaking that's involved, and there isn't. It's all by hand. There's different techniques, to get the line where I need it to go, to get the flatness that I'm looking for, but no tracing. It's just this, right?
Okay.
And then nothing also, preconceived. It's all coming,
spontaneously happening on the thing. Okay, so I'm looking at these, and these are kind of like singular incidences of your draping or your twisting or something like this. So that's kind of reduced down to just one example of one of those.
Exactly. Yes, I wanted to focus on one gesture for each. So the pulling, the folding, the draping, the twisting, and sort of really zeroing in by offering this.
Are you familiar with the work of Piero Manzoni?
Yes, I am.
Because I was sort of thinking that, especially with some of the stretched and draped canvases, it makes me think of some of his work where he was taking canvases and sort of stretching them and coating them with gesso or whatever, and you get the ripples or whatever. We're going to end up looking at these two last pieces here.
So we'll tell you a story, Lord, about
A
these.
story, okay, we love stories.
So the curator, whose name is Josh Campbell, he's a great guy and he's put in a tremendous amount of work making this all happen. So he insisted that we hang these two together because they were in dialogue, right? And you know, we agreed. And then when they were put up, we realized that the name of Chellis's piece is called Freedom. The name of my piece is called Revolution. And ironically, we were also making them at the same time, but separately. Our studios are far apart from each other, and we didn't see images of each other's work at that time when we were getting ready for the show. But the dialogue between the two pieces is, you know, very, very obvious.
And this is probably what, 36-inch square, something like
36-inch
that?
square, my friend.
Okay.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Well, I was going to say this about this piece, Chellis, is that this one is a little more painterly.
It is.
You've got in there and gotten some brush strokes in there, some scumbling and things like that on top of your kind of sculptural forms. Is this like a new development for you that you're going to be painting them more? And
Yes, I'm working on developing this further. After I made the sculptural form, I thought, why not be free and just paint on top of it like a painting?
yes.
And so that's exactly what this is. I began with drawing some lines here, and then painting on top of it, and then doing some washes of acrylic paints, and there's sort of like a trompe-l'oeil pink shadow happening here. I actually kissed the area here with my stick. And then I gessoed some of it with clear gesso, some of it with white gesso, so there was some subtle...
Yeah, there's almost kind of also a trompe-l'oeil thing where, so right here you've got an edge that's painted and then it turns into an edge that's actual three-dimensional form. I like that.
Thank you, yes, I was really excited by that playful discovery.
All right, artists.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for coming.
that's James Kalm, please. James.
February 11th, so please stop by.
Until when?
February 11th.
Okay, we'll do that.
Thursdays and Saturdays and by appointment.
Okay, so
Come on by.
this has been James Kalm reporting on, what was the name of the show? Reverberations, here at the Highline 9?
Highline 9 Gallery.
Highline 9 Gallery in Chelsea. It's on 27th Street. You can like this, share, subscribe, recommend it to all your friends, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below. As long as you say, what do we say at the end of all of these?
Thanks, Kate.
That's right. And thank you.
Long you live and high you fly, but only if you rise.
Hey, there's the artist. Steve Keister at Derek Eller. We'll take a look at the sculpture. Steve said he's been influenced by Meso-American art, particularly the art of the Mayans. I was just having a chat with Walter Robinson, and he mentioned the fact that Steven was one of the group of artists that was picked out by Ronnie Cohen for her article in Art Forum, I believe it was 1980-81, and she titled this group of artists the Energists. So Steve was one of the original Energists. I was just reading a little catalog essay, and they talked about how the Energists kind of flopped and were subsumed by some other movements like the Pictures Generation people and the Trans Avant-Garde, the Neue Wilden from Germany. Okay, So that was it. Congratulations.
Choose your own ground.
Take a look at the sculpture.
Thank you. That was Breathe in the Air by Pink Floyd.
Thank
My
you.
name's Jake. Hope everyone's enjoying the music.